You're watching the KATE FOX Show. I'm KATE FOX, and today I am speaking with James Ryder.
Hello.
And James, you are the guitar player and singer in the band Ryder. And you just celebrated a milestone.
Yeah, 3 years as a band, and we haven't killed each other yet.
You have nice guys in your band, though.
I do, most days.
Well, that's true. You know what? I don't travel with them, so I don't have the same perception that you might.
They're awesome.
But they are. You have a great lineup right now, and you just came back from Nashville.
Lewisburg, Tennessee.
Lewisburg, sorry, Tennessee.
Lewisburg, about 45 minutes south of Nashville.
And that was your big anniversary.
The big hurrah, 3 years.
3 years. 3 years as a band, and you are one of the hardest working bands I know.
Thank you.
You have been across the country, up the country, down the country.
Coast to coast. We haven't been to Canada. That's not a part of the country.
Oh, that's right. Well, they're part of us, though, really. You know, they're so close.
They're the hat of the United States.
But you've done Rocklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
You've opened for some major acts.
Mm-hmm.
You just played the Paramount in Huntington.
Yep.
And who'd you open for?
East Freely.
Oh, Ace Frehley. Oh, that was a nice way to get back in to get into the Paramount.
Oh, that's a story in itself. 7 years.
7 years.
It took 7 years, 3 bands, and a lot of persistence, and they finally listened, and they're like, "All right, we're gonna get you in here," and they did.
Yeah, but you brought it. You brought it. We were at the show. Everybody loved you. You had a huge audience, and so you proved that your persistence. You weren't just waving a flag and saying, "Hi, here I am." You said, "Here I am."
Yeah. Well, I mean, with every performance, if you're not giving it your all, then you're not doing it right. So, that was, for that show, it took so long to get in there. We just wanted to, make the biggest impact that we possibly could, because, I didn't know if we would even have another shot at it. So it was just it took me 7 years. The first time I was in there, I was barely out of high school. I played in 2012 when I first opened with my old band, and it was awesome. But I was younger. I took it for granted. I always thought, oh yeah, they'll have me back. They'll do whatever. And 7 years goes by, and it's like, oh shit, they're not gonna have me back. And then it's like, hello. Can I play? Please. And they when we finally got the call, it was so awesome to just get that email from them, and just you're confirmed, and it's just like, wait, you're not fucking with me, right?
Right.
We're actually playing, and it was just so cool. So I had the mentality going in there of all right, I don't know if I'm gonna have another chance at this, so I'm gonna make it count.
And you did. You really did.
I'm glad you think so. I'm glad other people enjoyed the show.
Oh, absolutely. I saw the comments online. I heard people talking. I was knee deep in the audience, and it was a really good show. But you've also opened for, who else have you played with?
We played with Rat last September, so that was at the Wellmont.
Okay.
LA Guns, Dokken, Faster Pussycat, Brett Michaels. That was that Mulcahy show.
Oh, that's right. That's right. And you do a lot of charity work also. You've done a lot of charity shows.
Yes, Tattooing for Autism under My Skin for Life Foundation. Check them out. They're really awesome. Tattoo Tony, who's been on this show before, very good friend of mine. Please check out his work and his tattoo stuff.
We love Tony.
And his band Broken Past.
Broken Past, and they just put out their first EP. But yeah, so you've done Tattooing for Autism not only as a band, but also as a volunteer.
Yeah, my first year of Tattooing for Autism, old acquaintance of mine got me involved with it, because she got involved with it every year, and then she moved upstate, and we kind of fell out of contact, but she introduced me to Tony, and I hit up Tony, and it's like, oh, we're full for this year. It's like, but if you want to, you can volunteer. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, you gotta get your foot in the door somehow.
Yes.
So me and my old drummer volunteered that day, and that's when we met a mutual friend of ours, Rick Axelrod, who passed away last year, and it was just first time I met him, like funny, awesome guy.
Yes, yes, it's me too.
Really, really awesome guy, like the biggest heart. I mean, if you got on his bad side, he was an asshole.
That I never got. I only got the goods from him.
You know, but he was great. And
wow.
and you know, we had been friends ever since. And you know, I was one of the few people to actually see him in the hospital.
You saw him right before he passed.
The week before he passed.
Because I remember talking to you a little bit, or messaging. We didn't speak on the phone, and you had said you went to see him, and he was cracking jokes, but he was a good guy, and what a way to get into that crowd, and to the whole group from Under My Skin for Life and Tattooing for Autism.
You know, Rick
They're
was
wonderful.
awesome. Ray's awesome.
Yes, Frank, Ryan.
Frank too.
Oh God, I'm sorry, Chris.
Chris Hominy and Patty, his wife.
Yes, and I'm forgetting it. We love you all, and every name that we haven't said, we'll say again when we see you in September. Or at least I know I'm going to be there in September.
Nice.
So, and you're not sure if you're going to be there in September for Tattooing for Autism because it's September 14th, which is what? The day after?
It's the day after we play with Radigan this year at One Center Square in Easton, Pennsylvania. So their only area appearance, according to iHeartMedia. I just got the radio spot. They mentioned us.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. I like it. I like it. Well, you know what? I want to take a quick break, and then I want to come back and talk about some other stuff with you.
Okay.
Something I wanted to ask you is, as a musician, when you are up there on that stage and you're playing in front of an audience and you can feel the energy coming from the audience, how does that make you feel?
Oh, wow. It's an absolute electric feeling. There are a few times I felt it the most. I mean, I feel it all the shows, but it's, you know, the ones that really resonate with me. The one you saw at the Paramount where it's just like, all right, these people are into it. Like, this is amazing. Just feeding off of, like, them cheering and doing whatever. And the first time we played Rocklahoma, that was the first time we had ever played in Oklahoma. We had never been in the state before. First time ever, you know, major festival, access stage, and there were well over 1,000 people there. Well over 1,000 people there. And it was absolutely electric. They were dancing, they were hollering, they were cheering, they were eating it up, and, you know, some of them, you know, were actually singing the choruses back to me. And it's just, as a songwriter, as a musician, as a performer, it's like, that's just like, that's the ultimate testament that, you know, what you're doing, you know, resonates with some people. And, you know, it's an awesome feeling.
That's fantastic. Well, I know that you were going to have that feeling a lot more. And, wow, you just made me smile.
Hey, I'm Tattoo Tony, and you're watching the KATE FOX Show.
How you doing?
And now, there's something I wanted to mention, that you also have played my Cancer Can Rock show.
Yep, I believe that was the first one?
You did the second one.
Second
the
one.
First
one I visited.
The first one you showed up to support,
Yes.
and that was huge for me.
Yes.
I have to tell you, that meant a lot to me. And then you played a great show the second time.
That was actually our first show back from Rocklahoma the first time.
Was it?
Yep, because I remember I was still going through my blonde phase with my hair.
Now I have to go back and look at the pictures and the
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah, I try to forget about that phase, but
Well, no, our phases make us what we are.
no. People forget about that one. It's like when I used to have a mullet back in the day. I try to repress that,
Oh,
like the
God.
lower depths.
A lot of people had mullets, though.
Yeah, but no one had a mullet in 2016.
We're pretend that didn't happen. You didn't hear
I
that
am.
here. Well, now I'm gonna have to look for pictures of that too. So something now this lineup that you're working with now, you've been together for this lineup of Ryder.
This lineup of Ryder is going to be together 2 years come October.
And the band members are?
Billy Smith on drums, Andrew Block on guitar, and Tim Freyer on bass.
And who's the other guitar player and the singer?
Well, that would be me. At least I hope.
You were supposed to say James Ryder.
Yeah.
You didn't read my script. But you guys, I know I said it before, you have tightened up like crazy.
Yeah.
It's really something to see. And the work that you put into it definitely shows.
Thank you.
Now, you have a record out.
We have a live EP out.
A live EP.
A live EP that you were at one of the recording sessions.
Yes, I
for
was.
that. We did 2 recording sessions for that.
I think we were at the first one.
Yes, one was in September, which we used some stuff from that, and the second one was in October. I think that was the Guns N' Roses after party, like Paradise Kitty, which, believe it or not, was Tim's first show with us.
Really?
So that live EP is Tim's first show.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah. Well, we have that, and then we have the YouTube videos that we did when we got back from Rocklahoma. This was the week after Cancer Can Rock when we played Blackthorn that day. It was like a Don Jameson showcase thing, and someone got like professional video too. So there's that too. And what happened is Tim tweaked his Achilles tendon, so he couldn't stand up. So he had to actually like lean on a bar stool.
Wow. And
they shot it in such a way where it's like you could barely see the stool unless you like zoom in on him.
Oh, that's very cool.
So, but
well, I have 2 things to say about that. First of all, we love you, Don.
No, Don Jameson is an awesome person. Don Jameson has known us, this band, since inception. He introduced us at our very first show, and he's introduced us at subsequent shows since. I think we saw Don in June, a few months ago, actually.
Okay.
So he introduced us at Blackthorn. He was actually wearing the Queen's F in New York shirt.
Oh,
and it's funny because the show, when we got back from Rocklahoma the first time, he thought we were from New Jersey, and he introduced us from New Jersey. And he actually inspired us to do the Queen's F in New York shirt. Because he's like, from New Jersey, and then like I corrected him, I'm like, oh, dude, we're from Queens. And he's like I said, from Queens, the Jersey of New York. And I'm like, okay.
That's funny.
So that's why we came up with that shirt.
Where can people find video, like the YouTube videos? Do you have a YouTube channel? Or
we have a YouTube channel. There's no special URL because we don't have like 1,000 followers.
Please,
or whatever,
they have all those crazy rules now. I don't have it either. So just look up Ryder, RYDER.
Yeah, Ryder live at Blackthorn or like something like that, or Ryder Band NY or something. You'll find something.
And what's your EP called?
For What It's Worth.
For What It's Worth. For What It's Worth. Now, if people wanted to see, well, first of all, what do you have coming up next?
Oh boy. We're playing in Pennsylvania on August 17th.
August 17th,
So
where at?
Border Bar. I forgot. It's outside of Scranton.
Okay.
So it's somewhere there. And then we have the Rat Show at 1 Center Square in Easton, Pennsylvania.
On September 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Friday, September 13th, supporting Rat, the only area show. Where else?
Well, the rest of we're kind of working on other dates too. I can't really talk about a lot of other dates because they're still dotting the I's and crossing the T's on them.
Okay, which is fair enough.
What I can say is there might be a show in Brooklyn in early October.
There might be a show in Brooklyn in early October.
Looking more towards Friday, October 4th.
You know, right now, my head's spinning. And there are things I'm like, well, is it this? Is it this? Is it this? But that's all I'm gonna. So now, all of the material you play, who writes it?
We all do. We all just contribute. One of us comes with a riff or comes with a lyric idea. You know, we throw shit against the wall, we see what sticks, we duke it out, and it's like, alright, which fits better for the song, and that's pretty much it.
So there's no real one way, it's something comes up and it's...
Yeah, one of us brings something to the table, and then we just, you know, build on top of it and build on top of it until we're happy with it.
I like that. I like that. So, where do you see yourself in, say, a year? Where would you like to be in a year? What's your goal?
Well, touring a lot more consistently, hopefully. More consistently than we do now.
Okay, but you, okay, Yeah, I'm making the
So,
face because you know you're
yeah,
always working. Go on.
Definitely, you know, covering more ground. There's still plenty of states we haven't been to yet, other markets we haven't been to.
Okay.
Billy's been getting on my ass to go down to Florida. So, I'm trying. Call me back, Florida, please. So, we're...
Florida.
Yeah.
Florida.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're looking. I tried a few places in Tampa and Tallahassee and Orlando and all that. So, I'm still waiting. But, you know.
You'll get you know you'll get there.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened this year. We actually started out playing in Massachusetts. We took a while to get into that market. And then finally, the Ralph's Rock Diner in Worcester was just like, all right, well, we'll book you. And that's how we started out the year. I was like, all right.
That's a nice way to start.
So,
Very cool.
yeah.
Now, if people want to look you up, look up what you have out there, check out the merchandise you have, where do they go?
Well, Facebook, you know, facebook.com/RyderBand.
RYDER.
RYDER band, one word. Our Instagram is @Ryder_NY.
Okay.
YouTube, you can look. We're on Spotify. We're on iTunes. You know, you can check out a lot of stuff. Merch-wise, we're in the process of setting up a webpage, so it's still in the works.
Okay, fair enough.
So,
But there are places, and you can get merchandise at the shows.
yes, please.
And you have great merchandise. I'm trying to think of things that I want people to know about you. Is there something, I don't know, we don't know that you think we should?
Oh man. Well, without incriminating myself, God, that's gonna be hard. No, I'm kidding. We are working on something. We've actually been working on it in January. We started in January and we ended in May. We spent a lot of time on a little ranch in Dillsburg, Pennsylvania with our good friend Anthony Esposito. I can't really go into detail about it because we're currently shopping it to a few different sources.
Okay.
But there may or may not be something that could be considered a studio album in the works. Can't really say. It's not gonna be like Tool. I'm not gonna sit on it for like 20 years. So,
But Tool's on Spotify now. Sorry.
We've been on Spotify for 2 years now. So.
So so you have some exciting things that may or may not happen.
Allegedly, yes.
Allegedly. Perhaps. I've heard maybe.
Perhaps.
What else? What else should we know?
I mean, there's that. Not really much else in the works. I mean, that's taken up a lot of the time.
You work a lot. You work a lot. Where would you be without Ryder? Ryder.
Oh boy. Where would I be without Ryder? I don't know. I never really considered it because Ryder formed when another old project of mine fell apart. And, you know, I was in a very bad place in my life. And, you know, I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know if I was going to continue in music. I didn't know, you know, I really had no idea what I was going to do. Like, the rug was, like, completely just pulled from under me, you know? And I'm just, you know, Ryder basically came about because it was like, all right, well, if I'm going to leave the music business, I'd rather do it on my terms,
Nice.
not on anyone else's terms. So let me give this another go. And, you know, when Ryder first started out, I mean, it was like about half, you know, let's create new music, and like half of, let's say, you know, fuck you to like everyone else. And, you know, then, you know, life happened, and, you know, I matured, I got sober, and, you know, 2 years now. No
Really?
alcohol.
Congratulations.
So, going on 3 in March, and,
Wow.
you know, just life kind of changed around a little bit, and it's just like, all right, well, a little less fuck you, and, you know, let's focus on the music and focus on things that matter. And it's just, I'm addicted to getting on stage and performing for people, and driving 18 hours, specifically from Nashville, Tennessee to Granbury, Texas. That was the longest drive I ever did.
Wow.
I had to Texarkana, and I still had 3 hours and 45 minutes to go. So, yeah, it's a funny story, but yeah, no, I mean, Ryder pretty much, you know, gave me like a new lease on life, a new chance to like reinvent myself and do that. And I'm with 3 amazing people who, you know, helped make this a reality. And, you know, Ryder started off as, like I said, you know, a chance for me to reinvent myself. And, you know, and a lot of people think that because the band is called Ryder that it's a solo project. I can assure you it's not.
Really?
It
I
is
guess I
not.
can see why they might think it,
Yeah.
but, you know.
It is not a solo project. It's funny because the old project I was a part of, you know, I started it as a band, and it felt like a solo project. And this one was like, okay, maybe this could be a solo project, and it became a band.
Wow. I like that.
So,
See, you never know where life's going to take you.
you don't.
And you took a chance. You gave it one last chance.
Yeah. And
And-
that last chance has been going for 3 years now, and it's just, it's grown. Oh my God. Like, I can't even remember like half the shows that I do. Like, it's...
Well, you also drive a lot to every show you do.
I do. I drive to every show.
Does anybody help?
Well, it's usually my car, so I like to be behind it. 'Cause
Okay.
Insurance purposes.
Okay.
You know,
And
I
maybe
pay
a little
lot
bit
in
of control.
insurance. You know, it's not easy to have car insurance in New York.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
if anyone's gonna crash the car, I'd rather it be me.
Wow.
So
you're okay. So you're the chauffeur also.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't help myself. So, well, I'm glad you decided to give it another try because honestly, I don't know if we would have met if you hadn't. And
Didn't
we didn't. No, we met when you were a part of Ryder. We've known each other about only two and a half years. It just feels like longer.
we? Yeah.
But
Time like
I know. But if you weren't in Ryder, I wouldn't be able to call you friend.
no.
So I'm glad for that because he looks, well, he's not standing up right now because I'm too short, but if you look at him standing up, you think he's scary. And you're actually one of the nicest people I know.
Thank you.
I you know, I'm not a guy. If I was a guy and I saw you in a dark alley, I'd be a little scared. I'd be like, huh. But you look like this big imposing fellow, and you know what? You're a sweetheart.
Thank you.
You're an absolute. And actually, I have to tell one story, and I don't mean to I don't mean to dominate because this is your time. Last year when we were at Tattooing for Autism, I don't know if you remember this. It was getting later in the day.
Mhm.
I was at my table, and a woman walked by, clearly in distress. And we were talking without a beat. You were up, you were over, and you were trying to help this woman
Yeah.
with whatever her problem was. And
Yeah.
that was something, I'm not surprised that you did it, but the speed that you did it with, and just, it was just, boom, you were there. What do you need? What can I help you with? What's wrong? And it was just, that was a testament to me, knowing you or not, to exactly who you are.
Thank you. Oh yeah, no, that was, I remember that too. It was just so out of the blue, and I was just like, oh, what the fuck's going on, you know? And
you
like my instinctual response when I see something like that is just, okay, what can I do to, you know?
And that's what you did. Instantly, without a question, without a thought, you were immediately there to help someone out. And that's the James Ryder that I know. Love his music, love your band, but that is the person that I really have grown to like and call friend.
Thank you.
James Ryder.
Moment so long to see my dreams come true. Many years I've wasted my time on those with foolish pointed view. No, never the time is here. And for time is come.
They just blew out the sound for the third time.